Food for thought. When you go through change, your body also goes through change. So do not give yourself a hard time when you feel like your head is spinning everywhere, you feel totally disoriented, and that you do not feel like yourself. Because that's what happens when you change. That your body was in a state of homeostasis, in which I mean in a state of normalcy. Your body naturally finds homeostasis a place that it's fine staying at, that your body weight's staying at, that your hormones are staying at, and everything in between. And that is considered your homeostasis. But then once you change, your environment changes, your schedule even changes, your body, your internal body clock changes as well. And your hormones change, and the way you feel changes. And your mind is not used to this internal change. And so it wants to make sure that this change isn't occurring because that's your natural. That's basically how your body has functioned for this long. It's how your body has been able to survive. But sometimes when you outgrow certain stages in your life, certain habits of your life, you change, your body changes, but your body doesn't internally know that the change is good, that this change is needed. And so it creates all this in your head to kind of balance out your emotions and the hormones. For example, if someone was in a very stressful environment, whether it be from work, from school, from situational reasons, any single reason for a prolonged amount of time, and then all of a sudden the schedule changes, they change, you change, and that stress level is knocked down a bit, the body is so used to having that high level of cortisol. It really is, because that's what it's known. That's what it has known. It knows how to function on high levels of cortisol, and it can function on high levels of cortisol because it has. And so when you are no longer in that environment of having high cortisol, the body's like, what is going on? I need to have that cortisol to function because I have been running on that cortisol for so long. Cortisol is like the stress hormone, if you're not familiar. And the body will try to mentally create things that induce cortisol, that stress hormone, because that's what it is used to. And so it's very easy to have certain things slip into your mind that really amp you up to have that feeling of stress or to mimic that feeling, because that's what your body wants. That's what it's been used to for 1, 2, 3, 4, a year, however long. And it's hard. It is so hard to go from 0, or I should say 100,000, that's how fast you're running, down to 0. So give yourself the grace to go from 100,000 to 90,000 while still having some responsibilities to do. Because imagine you are traveling in a train, in a truck, in a car, in a bike, whatever way that you can think of your first thought of transportation. Imagine you're going the quickest it can go on that bike, that car, that plane, whatever you want to think of. It is impossible without causing severe damage for that traveling device, the thing that you're riding in, to slow down from 100 miles an hour down to 0. But it's way easier for you to go, or for that vehicle to go, depending if it's a sports car, whatever, from 0 to 100. Because when you think about it, if you try to stop an airplane going, I don't know, I just remember seeing on like a screen on like the airplane, it's like how many kilometers you're going per hour. It's like 372 kilometers per hour or something. And imagine trying to stop that plane from going that fast and just like poof, stop. That is literally, one, super dangerous. Two, almost, I can't even imagine anything or everything that could have that stop, like other than like a full-on head-on collision. Dangerous, like I said. Or just, I don't know. I'm not creative in that position like yet to like think about that. Like that's not really what I think about, but my point being said, you can't think of yourself as simply just a human from the perspective of being perfectly fine from going to 100,000 all the way down to 0. Because using that airplane analogy, you can't do that without causing yourself or like literally crashing the airplane. So you can't go from 100,000 to 0 like that without your body being disrupted. That's where I was trying to get at. That's what I was trying to go for. Without your body being disrupted. Because, like I said, your body is so used to functioning at such a high stress level. And then it sees that you are no longer there. The airplane is literally like no longer flying. Or like, it's like, I don't know how to connect that. Never mind. But it's to the point of just allow yourself to slow down slowly. I talked to someone and they were like, just try to go from 100 to 60. When you slow down slowly and at a good enough pace that's sustainable for you, it'll be okay. And it will be sustainable. And that you will find a new routine. You will find something else that you can do. That you will fill your time with better things that you might not have remembered to figure out or like to do, or something that you're a hobby of or a fan of, or that is your hobby. That's what English. Yes. But give yourself grace to be able to have those times where your body is trying and going to create those mental situations of stressfulness. To take a deep breath. I think that's been my new thing, taking a deep breath. I have to remind myself all the time to take a deep breath because my head is going like 1,000 miles an hour. And I'm no longer in that stressful situation of school being like my full-time thing. And so when I get really caught up in like, oh my goodness, I don't have enough time for this, I have to breathe in and then breathe out. Maybe we can do it together. In, out. And I feel like it helps me a lot to slow down because it just like makes me literally like sit down for a second or stand still for a second to slow down. Even though I hate slowing down, I think it's so uncomfortable because I've been doing this for like, I don't know how many months of being at 100,000 miles an hour and then having to slow down like nothing even was even like 3-4 months ago is bonkers to me. Like, oh my goodness. And so I'm just trying to figure out to like breathe and let it out and know that it's fine. Give myself grace, give yourself grace, because I think it's super important to give yourself the grace to be able to slow down and to not be too hard on yourself, and that remember who you are, remember who you want to be, and that sometimes there are certain stages of life where you do need to go, but then there's also stages in life when you don't need to go as fast. And it's really hard to remember that. But remember all those times that you've wanted to slow down, that you've wanted to have extra hours in the day to do something that you truly love. So give yourself grace to slow down and to be okay with the crazy emotions and the crazy thoughts. And just remember when that happens, to let it flow, but then also to let oxygen in and out, to breathe, to breathe. Just breathe in and breathe out. And it's simple and small. And you and I can do it together. You can do it alone. You can do it whenever, wherever, how many ever times you want to do it. And know to give yourself enough grace to slow down and to breathe and to just live. Food for thought.